of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Precious tritium is the fuel that makes this project go. There's only 25 pounds of it on the whole planet. I'd like to thank Harry Osborn and Oscorp Industries for providing it.
When you create a character, you want to make it as different from the normal as possible so that he's distinctive. If you see a silhouette in the dark, you know who it is. That's the way to define characters.
Hey, I'm Danny Boyd, and that
Here's what they want. All right, practicing and action.
is Willem Dafoe,
Makes this project go.
pretending to be Otto Octavius on the set of Spider-Man 2.
I want to thank Harry Osborn and Oscorp Industries for providing it. Excellent.
But of course, we're not really here to talk about Dafoe. Incredible as he is, I did a whole episode on him and his Green Goblin a few months ago and what made him so great. So today, I want to do something similar and highlight really one of the other great comic book movie villains in one of the greatest movie sequels of all time. This is Alfred Molina, the real Dr. Octavius, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
And now on to the main event. Give me the blue light, Rosie.
So, back in the 1970s and into the 80s, Doc Ock was pretty much tied up there with the Green Goblin as Spider-Man's greatest nemesis. He was the ultimate foil. He was like Peter Parker if Parker never had an Uncle Ben to tell him that...
With great power comes great responsibility.
Or a father to tell him that...
With great power comes great responsibility.
Or an aunt to tell him that...
And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Best thing about him, though, he just had these great arms.
You could climb up the wall of a building with him, he could crush things.
That Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee...
So he was a worthy adversary for Spider-Man, which is a hard thing to find.
Crazy scientist turns himself into some kind of a monster. 4 mechanical arms welded right onto his body. Guy named Otto Octavius winds up with 8 limbs. What are the odds?
Then a couple decades later, move over to Hollywood, and the character would finally be brought to the big screen by a lauded British actor, not exactly known for his work on big action blockbusters.
Tell me honestly what you think. I've always tried to make each job as different from the last one as possible.
If you're a real painter, you'll paint because you can't live without painting. You'll paint till you die. Okay?
And after Frida, this couldn't be more different.
A Fiddler on the Roof.
Then there was Molina's theater background.
This beloved musical has traveled all over the world.
So you're appearing on Broadway, starring in Fiddler on the Roof, Tony nominated for that, and here you are in one of the big blockbusters of the summer playing an octopus, basically. Is that what they call range in acting?
But that range was key, because like with Dafoe's Goblin before him, Molina isn't playing just a villain, is he?
Did Edison sleep before he turned on the light? Did Marconi sleep before he turned on the radio? Did Beethoven sleep before he wrote the Fifth?
Did Bernoulli sleep before he found the curves of quickest descent?
Oh, Rosie, I love this boy.
I like the fact that these characters are very complicated, very complex. You know, they're bad, but they're intelligent as well. They think a great deal. So they're very interesting parts to play.
You know, and like all great villains, he's become a villain kind of reluctantly, or almost by accident.
Peter and Otto are both intelligent, they're driven by science, bound by love, gifted extraordinary powers, and they each set out to save the world, in their own way. But there's a flip somewhere. One deviates left, one deviates right, and in the words of comic book author J. Michael Straczynski, if Spider-Man is the geek gone good, then Octavius is the geek gone bad.
And now let me introduce my assistants.
But when we talk about Doc Ock, we're not just talking about Otto Octavius, the character, or Alfred Molina, the actor. We're talking about that thing, or rather those four things that give this particular villain his name, his visual identity, that defining characteristic, and about what it took to bring that aspect of this character to life.
Yeah, four mechanical arms, four tentacles. It was challenging and difficult, but we tried very hard to create a vocabulary of movement, a way of moving that was natural and, didn't look too uncomfortable.
And to achieve all that,
we had 16 puppeteers.
At full bore, 4 puppeteers on each arm, because for the vast majority of medium shots and close-ups and a few of the action sequences, these were effects done on set, in camera, in real time. This was a decision made on day one between both Raimi and Molina under the belief that practical puppets would be a saving grace, not a novelty. That they should be viewed as more valuable to the finished product, not as more expensive. It gives the actor something real to interact with, and the director something real to direct.
We realized, of course, that this was a crucial and integral part of the characterization. And we had lots of long and detailed rehearsals with the puppetry team.
The arms needed to not only convey motion, but also an intricate range of emotion.
It was very interesting because these 4 arms do very different things, and they're very strong and they can be very delicate.
They were characters as much as anyone else, with personalities, moods. Each arm, by the way, had a name that Molina actually gave them. He called them Larry, Harry, Moe, and Flo, after the Three Stooges, plus Flo, the most coordinated of the 4, responsible for removing his sunglasses, giving him sips of his drink, lighting a cigar, plus a whole slew of stuff that never even made it into the movie, but had to be possible. Not everything we see could be done for real.
Okay.
We tried to make the tentacles practical whenever we could, because clearly that was always the most effective way of doing it. When they're real, they're real. There's no two ways about it. But there are certain shots that obviously that can't be done.
We could rebuild, enlarge the containment field, make it.
But that wasn't the real problem.
We measured every inch of their body. We cyber scanned every inch of them from head to toe. We did a lot of motion capture on their movements, facial expressions, how they open and close their eyes, how they smile, how they frown, pretty much all of the range of emotions that we can get.
In Spider-Man 1, the effects team had an advantage. Both the hero and the villain wore masks, and that made the work put into making believable CG characters in impossible-to-shoot scenarios less difficult. But cut to the sequel,
because we had to intercut a lot with either a stunt Doc Ock or the real Alfred Molina, our skin and flesh had to hold up to very, very close scrutiny. And it's something that's been very difficult in CG in the past, so we knew that was going to be our biggest challenge.
Animating a human face and then making that face look real, back in 2003, 2004, that was cutting edge. And what shot was the trickiest to get right?
I will not die a monster.
Doc Ock pulls this whole fusing machine down, and this last time we see him, he's full screen, and he's all CG, intending it to look like a real actor. And he drifts away down into blackness, ultimately. And I don't know that we've ever scrutinized an image like that, CG, that close on the screen before.
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man.
So you get some great actors, some great characters, a bit of innovative tech, and a director pulled from the unlikeliest corner of the industry who actually cares about making a great movie. It's pretty much rote today, but back then, these were huge risks these studios were taking, and lucky for us, it paid off. Hey, I just want to give a huge thank you to those of you who have chosen to support me through my Patreon these past couple of years. Your pledges make such a huge difference in keeping CinemaStix going. If you aren't a Patreon member yet and would like to support me and the work I do, please consider going to patreon.com/CinemaStix. It's just me over here, and a small contribution goes a very, very long way. Thank you again. Until next time.